Maybe some of you will get that. Anyway, morality has been the hot topic today, or lately. So I'm going to defend my position on morality. Recently, a YouTuber named DasAmericanAtheists put out a video on absolute objective morality. Now, he's an atheist here on YouTube who's open for debate, and I'm really a big fan of his videos, so his channel is definitely worth a look. I'll link to his video in the more info section. Now, to make sure we were on the same page, I asked him what his definition of absolute objective morality was, and we're able to agree on this definition. So, absolute objective morality is the idea that a standard of morality and that right and wrong exist regardless of whether or not anybody believes it. Right and wrong apply to all people at all times and is not impacted by what I think or believe. Given a specific set of circumstances, a morally significant action is either right or wrong. Now, when some people think of absolute morality, they think of blanket statements, like killing is wrong in all circumstances. This is not a position I advocate, and that is not the definition we just agreed upon. We just agreed that given a specific set of circumstances, a morally significant action is either right or wrong. This does not necessitate that I make blanket statements like lying is wrong in all circumstances. There is no obligation or reason for me to say that. Now, some people will say that if morality is absolute, it cannot account for circumstances. But this idea is absolutely ridiculous. Now, to be fair, to my knowledge, DasAmericanAtheists does not attempt to make that claim, but the objection has been brought up so many times in my videos that I feel it needs to be addressed. Now, nearly all views of morality take into account circumstances. They have to. When you say an action is wrong, you're taking into account circumstances. Even the person who makes the blanket statement, like rape is wrong, is taking into account circumstances. They are not arguing that all sex is wrong, but merely saying that sex, in the particular circumstance of it being forced, is wrong. The only difference between sex and rape is the circumstance of it being forced. Now, my viewpoint is completely consistent to take into account circumstances. If circumstances did not matter, then there'd be no moral difference between driving my car to my grandmother's house and driving my car into a group of innocent children. Clearly, there's a difference between those two scenarios from a moral sense. Now, some people argue that I am wrong because an action can be right in one set of circumstances and an action can be wrong in another. But it's important to realize that pointing out something I agree with does not refute my position. So for the person who brings that up, they are more or less just stating the obvious. Now, in some circumstances, an action can be objectively wrong, and in some circumstances, a given action can be objectively right. I advocate a moral hierarchy. In most circumstances, killing is wrong, but in some circumstances, killing can be your best option. If killing is objectively wrong, and protecting your family is objectively good, then it seems obvious that if you combine those two circumstances, then one of them has to give way, and that killing, in order to protect your family, may be objectively right. So, now that we've got that out of the way, let's get to the heart of the objections. I make the claim that morality does not change with time. Now, one argument against my position may look like this. Biblically, it was wrong to eat pork. It is no longer wrong to eat pork, therefore, morality changed with time. So let's look at that objection and see if it has any validity. So, biblically, God told his people that they should not eat pork. Therefore, it was immoral for the Israelites to disobey him and eat pork. Now, anytime I bring up God, people start disagreeing with me no matter what I say. So I'm going to compare this to an example we can all relate to. If your mom tells you while you're a child that you should not eat a cookie, then it is wrong for you to eat a cookie. So situation A, as I'm going to call it, is the idea that disobeying and eating something which an authority figure has justifiably told you that you should not eat is wrong. So eating a cookie when your mom says not to, or eating pork when God says not to, is wrong. So now let's look at situation B. Situation B is the idea that eating something which you are justified in eating is right, or eating the cookie or pork in absence of the authority figure telling you not to is morally acceptable. So the person who disagrees with me is arguing that situation A is wrong, situation B is right, therefore morality changed. But that's not how it works. See, bringing up situation B has nothing to do with the morality of situation A. If you're going to show that morality changes, situation A needs to go from being wrong to being right. Look at it this way. Situation A is wrong. Situation C is, this is a pen. Now, bringing up another situation does nothing to change the fact that situation A is still wrong. You can bring up as many situations as you want. Until situation A changes from being wrong to being right, morality has not changed. This is entirely consistent with my claim that any moral act is right or wrong given the specific set of circumstances. See, regardless of who you are or when you lived, if you're in circumstance A, then the action is morally wrong. And regardless of who you are or when you lived, if you're in circumstance B, then the action is morally right. Therefore, morality did not change. You just asked a different question. So remember, God loves you, and so do I.